Good morning, Express. We're glad you're watching 8:38 a.m. on this first day of July 2014. Good update we just got from Joshua Kemboy on what's unfolding in the World Cup in Brazil. But I want to switch gears to a story that could today have meant that most of us walked to work. But because of what appears to have been developments that took place late last evening, the NTSA, National Transport Safety Authority, seemed to have reached a consensus and agreement with the Matatu Welfare Association and Owners Association on the cashless system of fare collection. The exercise was to be rolled out today, but clearly the players in the industry had highlighted that they were not ready. And joining me in studio this morning to talk more about what really is unfolding in as far as this story is concerned is John Matimbwa, who's the Vice Chair of the Matatu Welfare Association. And we thank you for joining us this morning. Karibu sana. So, up until early hours yesterday, even evening, all indications appeared to be that most Kenyans would have to wake up, to a crazy day in as far as trying to move from one place to another, because most did not have these cards and were not aware of how this system works. But what is the issue that you as the Matatu Welfare Association had with the implementation, the rollout happening today?
Well, as the Matatu Welfare Association, we held our press conference on Sunday, and we expressed our concerns, of which, under the new constitution, the Bill of Rights clearly stipulates that the rights of the people must be protected, of which NTSA seemed not to have taken that into consideration, because a general observation or a survey would have revealed that the general public are not very much conversant, are not aware. They do not have these cards. Even the investors themselves do not have these machines, the gadgets in their vehicles and so on. Bear in mind that we are coming from a backdrop of where over 65% of Nairobians, for instance, are poor. So it becomes a bit tricky for one to keep his fare on a card when he's living from hand to mouth. So we were requesting for
so you're opposed to the system, because you're now talking about two different things here, that the average Nairobian perhaps would struggle with having that fare on the card. So you're opposed to the system altogether?
We are not opposed. Okay. All we are saying is the methodology, the system, the method of implementing this. Okay. Because the general public awareness, the campaign, the education is lacking.
But this is not something that was agreed on last week. As we're now in July, month 7. Last year, December, is when you all came into this, and it was the industry players who proposed this. So a good thing for the industry. Whose role is it to create this awareness?
Well, it is a twofold.
Okay.
The investor has to create it, as well as the government, NTSA for that matter. It is not a one-man show, because if you go around, the government or NTSA had not fine-tuned the system, because without fine-tuning the system,
when you say fine-tuning, what do you mean?
What I mean is they had not ensured that, one, the Central Bank of Kenya had accepted or legalized that mode of collection of money. Okay. Two, the security of the investors' money is something that should be borne in mind, or else we may end up in a kind of pyramid scheme where the investors' money will not be safe. These are some of the challenges we are concerned with, that they should be fine-tuned. And last time when we met at KICC, NTSA had accepted they need to pilot this so that the system can be rolled out after being tested and being acceptable to the users. And the pilot was to take place in Nairobi? Yeah, it's still to take place in Nairobi. It's ongoing.
So do you have a role as in terms of this sensitization, creating that awareness to the members of the public, MWA, MOA, what is your role in that specifically? Are you also supposed to be doing this publicity exercise?
Yes, we have to do it. We have to inform our customers, come such a time, we are now switching off from the cash collection to cashless.
But what have you done?
We do it, but you see, if the gadgets are not ready, surely whom do you blame? Because the service providers themselves do not have the gadgets as of now ready. There are very few.
But yeah, because when you say they don't have them, there are some matatus that have complied.
That's why I'm saying there are very few.
Okay.
Yes.
But what are the issues then? Because, for most Kenyans and with the matatu industry, what we've seen even the other time when there was a question of the speed governors and other requirements that were to be put in place, it's always at the last minute. When there's a rush, there's noise, there's people saying we're not ready, this and this service providers are not having sufficient material to facilitate us. Why is it there's always this last minute rush? Why then aren't there enough consultations before then we get to this kind of situations?
I concur with you.
Yeah.
That's a very healthy question. But we are the people where the tire meets the road.
Okay.
If we see the unfolding events, we never shy off from informing the government or the powers to be that this is what is developing. Like the speed governors. I remember we went and paid the cabinet secretary, Engineer Michael Kamau, a visit in his office. We told him that as at that time, the vehicles that had complied was 8,000 only across the country. So we had requested for extension because these gadgets were not there. Some of us had made payments to the dealers, and what you could get is only to have a banking slip. The gadgets were not there. The gadgets were being ferried in the last minute. Even NTSA itself, with the Kenya Bureau of Standards, had not licensed some of the dealers up to around 15th, 17th of March. So we cannot say it's entirely the Matatu fraternity to blame.
Okay.
We are recipient of these gadgets. And if a dealer tells you, go deposit the money, when they come, I'll fix for you, what do? You're helpless.
Okay.
That's why we paid the cabinet secretary a courtesy call in his office to explain what the events were on the ground.
All right. So you've got a new wish now. The exercise will not roll out today as had been stipulated. So what next? Where do you go from here?
What we are going to do, we are going to embark on this exercise seriously, in the sense that all the modalities should be put in place so that come the time we agree on, it should be that almost 80% has been achieved. I know it's not easy to achieve 100% just first time, but the necessary precautions are very necessary. We can't avoid that.
Because, for most they will wonder, and, we were talking to our viewers about this even last evening in our bulletin, and many seem to be of the view that it is a good thing, to go cashless, and as far as matatus are concerned, and the mode of payment. But you say after this you will now go, take this very seriously. But what confidence do Kenyans have with that? Because you've had all this time and nothing has been done. So you'll have more time, we'll have another deadline, and you'll come back and give us the same story.
We are not shifting goals for that matter.
Okay.
You may intend to come from town to this place, but when you encounter a traffic jam, what do? You have to explain you are held in a traffic jam. So